And I thought instead of run away from this fear, I thought I would embrace it. So that's kind of what this slideshow is all about. Me exploring through drawings from my own twisted imagination. So raise your hands if you're scared of snakes. You ready here? Okay. And you're not alone. I read on Wikipedia that it is I read somewhere else that I Googled fear of snakes, and the second most common fear is fear of snakes. Fear of spiders is the other one. So we're in good company here. And it turns out that this whole fear of snakes thing it's not just like a cultural thing. It's not just Adam and Eve and Indiana Jones and all that stuff. They've actually done experiments, and it seems hardwired that we're hyper aware of snakes. So they did this study where they showed a bunch of flowers and a little snake, and a bunch of snakes and a little flower, and it took people recognized the snake way faster than they recognized the flower. They did this with 3-year-old kids who had never heard of snakes, didn't know anything about snakes. They've done it with adults, same results. So it seems like, if you recognize a snake a second faster, there's a bigger chance you're going to pass your genes on. So, but then we have the whole cultural, snake thing, right, that reinforces this. So I remember when I was like 8 years old, I saw this National Geographic, and it had this rattlesnake, and it struck, and it was like, this was the freeze frame, and then they go back to it, and then it took impact. So another time, a little after this, I was in a car in Oregon where I grew up, and we ran over a snake. They thought it was a rattlesnake. And I didn't want to get out of the car for like an hour because I thought the snake, it's like still under our car, clinging there, and it's going to get me. So I was kind of bugging out until I was coaxed out. So then in middle school, we had this science teacher who had a boa in his room. So he's like, hey, want to watch the snake eat? So we're like, okay. And some of the people were really into it, like this asshole here. And they're, whatever, in between. And like, we're sort of waiting, and the snake's in there, and it's like, Jesus Christ. Okay, so the snake cocks itself up. It's ready to go. It is like, man, and I'm the mouse in my mind. I'm not a snake. I'm not a snake. So it's just sucked, and we're just waiting, and we're just, God. That one asshole kid's like, do it. And I was just like, and then it struck. And I guess being in a terrarium, it had gotten kind of rusty because it totally missed. It pretty much knocked itself out for about 5 minutes. That snake, that mouse was pretty freaked out. But eventually it woke up and it did its thing, and it ate the mouse. But snakes are not omnipotent. That's what that taught me. So then there's this. So I felt the snake. He took it out of its thing, and he held it, and you could touch it, and it's weird. Like it felt a lot like a woman's leg with. I didn't know this at the time because I was 12, but a woman's leg. Have you ever touched a boa in nylons? It feels really nice. So here's the thing: snakes don't kill many people in the U.S. We're okay, but in India, I saw this in India's deadly dozen. This last, it was on TV. Anyway, 20,000 people a year get killed by these not very scarily named Russell's vipers. That's, if you lay them end to end, that many people would go from the Liberty Bell all the way to King of people. I worked this out. 20 people at 6 feet each, and then some. You get to the far side to like where the movie theater is. So it sucks. It's scary. And so very popular snakes in the U.S. are these Burmese pythons that tend to be the type of pythons you see big dudes like carrying around, looking studly with a big snake. And they're pretty calm, they're pretty mellow, and a lot of pet shops are like, yeah, good for a snake, get a Burmese python. What they don't tell them is you keep feeding them, they keep growing. And these snakes get very big, and they're equally comfortable swimming on land and climbing trees. They get very big, these snakes. Very large, they're very powerful. And they're taking over Florida because Florida is a great habitat for them. You may have seen stories, if you Google or if you go to YouTube, type of Burmese python, you'll see all kinds of videos from Florida, and they're battling it out with alligators at the top of the food chain in the Everglades. Has anyone here seen that picture of it, the one with it that swallowed? Yeah, it's really gross. Okay, now the biggest one we know about, it's in captivity, is 26 feet long, 400 pounds. 26 feet long, that's as long as 4 people. Not that it could, its stomach isn't that long, but I just thought I would illustrate that. 400 pounds, 20, and people are buying these and selling them and letting them free. I'm like, cool, they're in Florida, right? But I'm okay, I'm in Philly. But the thing is, the predicted range of these things is all the way, it's a third of the of the lower 48 states of America. So this is 100 years from now, the estimated range, but still. That's Chesapeake Bay. That's Chesapeake Bay. So we're cool, right? It's cool, I'm in Philly. Okay, but the thing is, I live down by the Acme in South Philly, and there's this illegal pet store there. It's like this temporary garage type building, and they have freaking snakes in terrariums, and some of them are Burmese pythons, and they also sell puppies. It's really twisted. I know. And so when one of them got loose, I lived down by Geno's and Pat's and stuff. I might just, munch on one of these cheesesteak eating Phillies fans or whatever. So that wouldn't be so bad, And so that made me feel a little better. And in the end, we're all vertebrates, right? Why can't we get along? Snakes are kind of like us. They eat, they sleep, they have kids. We're all in this together. So that makes me feel a little better. And I hope doing this slideshow is going to help me get over my Snake-O-Phobia. Thank you very much.